Hey, it's Chrissy Dunnity here. Today we're talking about presets in Lightroom Classic, and we're going to answer that infamous question about if you should check the box to store your presets with your Lightroom catalog. Now, this question is unnecessarily tricky. However, by the end of this video, you will know with 100% certainty if you should have that box checked or not for your Lightroom setup. First, let's start with what is a Lightroom preset. And a Lightroom preset is nothing more than a saved script that tells Lightroom to perform a particular action or adjust one or more of the editing sliders to achieve a particular look with one click of a button rather than us having to manually change all of the respective sliders. So all it does is it speeds up our efficiency of different types of actions or edits. Now, when most people hear the word preset, they automatically associate that with editing presets, but there are a variety of types of Lightroom presets. How many types, you ask? Let's take a look. Go to the top menu item, Lightroom Classic on a Mac or File on a PC, and you're going to select Settings. Once you click Settings, your preferences for Lightroom open up. And on the Presets tab, you can see all of your options. Towards the bottom here, we're going to see Location, and this is the infamous checkbox of Store Presets with the catalog. Across from that, we have Show Lightroom Develop Presets and Show All Other Lightroom Presets. First, if we look at the presets, this is the default location. We could see there's a long path within our user file, and that is where Lightroom by default stores your presets. If we open up the setting, these are all of those scripts that I was talking about and we showed earlier for the develop settings. If we exit out of here, we can also say show all other Lightroom presets. And if we open this up, we can see, we'll open this. Now we can see all of the other items that are presets that we don't necessarily think of right away. And if we look at this, we have importing and we have exporting presets. So here's our imports. And if I can follow the alphabet, there's our exporting presets. We also have our metadata presets, and that often contains our copyright information. We have watermark information. We have layouts for printing and the book modules, label sets, and keywording. So all of these are things that I use on a regular basis. And again, they're stored by default within our applications of our Adobe Lightroom path. So this goes back to anytime you want to know where your presets stored or how can I find them, you just have to come within, again, your Lightroom preferences and click the show buttons. So let's talk about what happens if we click this box. Since Lightroom's default location for your presets is not necessarily intuitive, it's easy to think that we should change this and click this box and change the location so everything's co-located with your catalog. However, there's a few consequences for checking the box. First, if we check this box, only new presets will be saved with the catalog. None of our already existing presets, if you've already been working in Lightroom, will be moved. So we'll either have to do that manually, or you know then that now your presets are saved in two different locations. Second, even if you check the box, there are a few presets that will remain in the default user account location, so the default location that Lightroom sets up. And these are things like your camera profiles or your custom point curves, so they're always going to stay within the default location. And again, we're back to managing presets in two different locations. Third, and even though I advocate that you would only ever need one Lightroom catalog and you shouldn't be using multiple catalogs, but that's a different video to check out. If by chance you are using multiple catalogs, then checking this box means that presets will only be available with that respective catalog and not available if you happen to open a different catalog. So for organizational purposes, I prefer to consolidate and keep my presets in the default location set by Adobe. For the majority of situations, I recommend that users do not check that box. If you ever need access to the presets, it's really easy to just go back up to Lightroom Classic on the top menu or File, select Settings, and then select Show Presets. From there, you will see the path to exactly where your presets are saved, whether they're develop presets or all other Lightroom presets. Unless The only potential advantage to checking this box is that it can be easier if you use your Lightroom catalog across more than one computer. So in that case, you probably are storing your Lightroom catalog and photos on an external hard drive, so you can easily go back and forth between the two computers. In that case, it's probably advantageous to store your presets with the catalog and check this box. Otherwise, I recommend to leave it unchecked. Now, I use plenty of presets for importing, exporting my copyright and my metadata, keywords, and color labels. But here's the kicker. When it comes to developing, I really don't use a lot of the presets. I am not a fan because I feel that every image is different and requires unique steps to process the photo, and I rarely find a standard set of adjustments I want to apply uniformly across a group of images. And if I do, at that point, I will end up using the sync function rather than creating a preset. I really just prefer to see my images in the buff, so to speak, because I want my editing to be a constant evolution. But I could see perhaps presets being nice. I'm going to close the navigator here so we could see on the left-hand side of the develop panel, that's where we're going to find presets. And Adobe already gives us a whole bunch that come preloaded. So if we look at the sky and we follow the photo, as I scan down, we can get different ideas of what to do with an image. In this case, it could be interesting just to scan through and get a creative idea of what you can play. And this might spark some ideas for your editing, especially when it comes to things like abstracts. So while I don't use presets very often in my editing, you might, and there's nothing wrong with that. So you do you, and here's how we're going to do it. We have these preloaded within Lightroom already, but we also have where we can make the adjustments that we would want. I'm just going to make something a little crazy, and let's adjust the curve. What you would do is you would already create the different items within your editing that you want the sliders. Go to the presets tab here and click the plus sign. And from there, we can create presets, import presets, or manage. Here, we want to create a preset based on the settings that we just made. We'll click preset. We can enter a name for our preset. We can create a user group. So if we wanted to create a new user group, we could do that. And here, anything that has a blue checkbox next to it means that whatever the setting is right now within Lightroom, it's going to apply that. So we can check all or we can check none, whichever we prefer to do. And also note that there is a support an amount slider, and we can play with that in a minute and show you. But we would just hit create on the preset. And now you see up above, if I go back and let's say we change it to this blue drama, when I go back to my preset, it will change it back to what I prefer. So on top here, we have the slider. So if we want a little bit of the effect or a lot, we can slide that up and down. And we have that. Now again, Lightroom gives us a whole bunch of presets already preloaded. I am one that with organizing, get rid of the clutter if we don't need it. If you're not using any of these, again, we can manage our presets. We can check none, maybe just keep the ones that we made and hit save. And there we go. Now all of that clutter is gone and just what you need to see for your editing is available. Similarly, we can go back, we can check them all, and they all come back. And anytime you download presets, you can import them from right here. Now, again, as far as clicking that infamous store your Lightroom presets with the catalog, the only time I recommend checking that box is if you use your one Lightroom catalog across multiple computers. So you use it with your laptop and your desktop and you're regularly going back and forth. Sometimes that's a good excuse to check that box. Otherwise, it's better to just keep that box unchecked and let Lightroom handle saving your presets. I hope that cleared up any confusion about where to store your presets and brought some more zen to your Lightroom experience. Cheers until next time.